All right. And as well, I'll ask you when you two come up, okay? If it's all right that we go with 4 members, and if you'd like to wait or continue it, we can always do that, okay?
Okay.
But we're a kind of gentle board here, and so with that,
All set, Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to say good evening. And before I get to the required language mandated by our Governor Healy, I'm going to bore everybody for a minute or two to say, I've been out for just about 6 months. I'm told I did come back for one meeting. I don't remember it.
Did a
So
good
if it,
job.
huh?
You did a good job.
Did I? So, no, I didn't. I'm sure I didn't. That's why I didn't come back again. And probably if any of those go up on appeal, I'll now wish I hadn't said what I'm saying. But in my absence, I would watch my colleagues in action, and each and every one of them jumped up to that plate in a way I couldn't believe. Whether it be a regular member or an alternate, everybody was just plain wonderful, filling in when they wished that regular members such as myself would attend every meeting. So for those that jumped in my absence, I appreciate it very much. A special, and this is not because I've known him forever, but 2 special things I'd like to say is to Mr. Igo sitting to my left, who always jumps in for me when I'm not here and does such an admirable job. And Ms. Fallon, seated over to my right, who, if you've had any connection with our board, you've met her and I'm sure enjoyed the episode. She is incredible. She works diligently for our board, and more importantly, can put together a board seemingly no matter what. So if Mount Etna blows up again, we're going to have a meeting that Thursday night, and it will be fully attended, I'm sure. So to Ms. Fallon, thank you very much. With that, I'll stop boring the audience. And while you may think there's no audience, I just want to say that we have hordes of people at home glued to the television. How do we know that? Because if we do anything wrong, they remind us for the next 10 weeks. So please, let's show the ordinary decorum of a meeting, and with that, we'll get on. So I'm required by Governor Healy to read this, and so I will. My name is Steve DeYoung, and I'm the chairman of this wonderful Yarmouth Zoning Board of Appeals. We will now convene the July 25 meeting of the Yarmouth Zoning Board of Appeals as required by General Law, Chapter 38, Sections 18 to 25, and pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, known as an act relative to extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, previously known as COVID, as extended by Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023. The public are able to attend this meeting either in person or via the alternative public access. Members of the public may watch the meeting live on our Channel 18 or watch and or participate in the meeting hosted in Zoom. The meeting notice provides necessary instructions for how to join the meeting via Zoom. Please note that audio, video, and screen sharing functions will be disabled for all attendees. That means Zoom attendees. And you may request to participate by using the raise hand function of the Zoom platform. With that, I'll call a roll call. Mr. Tony, are you here tonight?
Here.
Tony, are you here tonight? I'm sorry. Mr. Igo, are you here today?
I am present.
Mr. Frapery, are you here tonight?
Here.
And Mr. Martin, who would be seated to my far right, is not yet here, but hopefully he'll join us when we get to the substance of your petition. With that, would you please tell us who you are and what your petition's all about?
You go first.
Well, I guess, wait a minute, I can read, I'll read the notice to the public on the petition before you tell us about it. This is the petition by George Avery Carpentry. It's known as Petition 5120. It's concerning property located at 9 Millard Road in South Yarmouth, Massachusetts. Property located in an R25 zoning district. The applicant seeks a special permit pursuant to 104.3.2, subparagraph 2, or in the alternative to modify special permit 4962, dated August 9, 2022, so as to add a landing of 15.5 feet from the rear property line. Please go ahead and tell us who you are and what you'd like to tell us about this petition.
I'm George Avery. Excuse me.
Here, George.
What we did is, we added a slider. It's on the plans, and I know you need to put a 4-foot landing. We ended up doing a 6-foot. We went the length of the slider. It goes out 2.5 to 3 feet into the 10-foot or 15-foot area, which which Brad said I needed to talk to you guys about.
Yeah, sure. You went too far.
Yes, sir.
It's like a bridge too far, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, and who's the gentleman sitting with you,
I am
please?
Donald Morrison, I'm property owner.
Well, good to see you tonight, too.
Thank you.
I hope you're staying at your home this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we could have had better weather, huh?
We got to the beach today.
So, as I said to you earlier this evening, what happens is we then ask the board members if they have any questions of either one of the two of you.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter who answers, just as long as we get the information, or you respond to the questions. And then we'll ask the audience to chime in if they'd like to. And if nobody does, then we'll close the public hearing and open it to board discussions and a vote, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we'll start with Mr. Mantoni. Do you have any questions of our board?
Yes, just a couple. So you put a slide, so just so I understand, you put a slider in.
Yes, sir.
And now you've got what is it, a 6-foot deck?
It's a 6-foot slider with a 6-foot deck by 3 feet out.
3 feet?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was at. In the stairs here, you measured it from the end of the stairs to the property line, and that's where you get coming up with the 15.5 feet, right?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, that's pretty simple. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you very much. Mr. Igo?
No question.
How about you, Mr. Prape?
I'm just having a hard time lining up the house to the plans that came by. I'm just trying to make sure, so. But the second, you remember what submission you made, and one had the first page had the first floor or whatever?
Yes.
The third page shows, it looks different, and I'm trying to figure out, it looks like almost like it's a different house than the first one. And I'm just trying to line that up.
Do you have a sheet A3?
Yeah, well, I'm looking at AB1.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And is AB1 the same house?
Can I see it?
Sure.
Well, you can see it.
Am
but
I
you
allowed to come up
submitted
there? Well, I don't have it.
This was,
Now, here's what we need to do. Why don't you take a look at that? Then we need you to go back to the microphone so that you
Yeah,
can.
this is an as-built.
Yeah, you see,
This
you gotta
was-
go back to the microphone. You're not hearing me. And again, that's because people are home wanting to hear.
The plan you just looked at is the as-built. That was what was there.
that's the old house before you added on?
Yes.
Okay.
And then you'll see the addition on A1.
The first page is what's there today. Okay. There's a deck, a new deck, and so you're basically, the change is that you're going off the back by about 3 feet plus stairs?
No, the stairs are not in the way. There's 3 feet of the back. Say this is the deck here.
Yeah.
The stairs go off that way. This part of the deck is the 3 feet
Too far.
into the area. Yes,
3 feet farther than expected.
yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I
Okay.
had.
All right, I mean, was the site engineered before the addition was put on?
Yes.
Was it staked as to the furthest point to the roads?
It's not a road. It's just the backyard.
Millard Road is not a road?
No, this deck we're talking about is in the back of the house.
Okay, I'm sorry,
like
I
the
see it, yeah,
backslider.
I apologize, yeah,
That's okay.
okay. But was it staked there?
There were stakes for the foundation. There were no stakes for the deck.
Okay,
It
fine.
was basically an additive, yes,
Anything not part of the structure, save for decks, gotcha.
yes.
Well, do Do you know who the abutter is?
It turned over recently,
Okay.
within the last 2 years, and it's become a rental property. I have no idea who the,
So you haven't gone over and spoken to
No.
them at all, have you? And have they come over and spoken to you about the proximity of this deck to their? Decks are pretty benign in my mind, you know?
and we
You can make the same noise on a fully conforming deck as you can on a slightly larger
and
deck.
it's never gonna be a deck we utilize it in a traditional, it's more just an exit from the house.
Well, you're the owner today.
Right.
We think about the owners down the road. That's our job. Well, there is something that I do need to read into the record before we invite the public, and that is from Don Morrison. As requested as the homeowners, we authorize George Avery to be our representative. Oh, Donald, you're here.
Yes,
I don't need this tonight. You decided to come along with
I
him?
came,
You've authorized him to speak, haven't you?
yes.
All right, does anybody in our audience care to speak in favor of this petition? If so, please come to the lectern, tell us who you are and what you would like to say. Seeing no stampede, does anybody in our audience care to speak in opposition to this petition? If so, please come to the lectern and tell us who you are and what you'd like to say. And seeing none, we now close it for public input into the petition and open it up for board discussion and deliberation.
Okay.
I'm sorry, again, we constitute only a four-member board this evening as of this point, but that's all you're going to get to vote on this petition, even if he arrives now.
Okay.
Mr. Frapery?
I'm not gonna call it de minimis, but it's not, it doesn't seem to be a big, sorry. But it doesn't seem to be a big change. It is, I guess it's 15 feet now from the back line, is what it looks like, 15 and a half, so I'm okay. It's already built, and I don't think it's really that encroaching on their neighbors, so in this case, I would be supportive.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Igo?
Yes, I agree with Jay also. In addition, the neighbor to the rear seems to be an adequate distance away, so I don't think there's gonna be any nuisance. A lot of people don't know that when they have a deck, that they need a 4-foot landing when they come out the back, at least a 4-foot. I know, because I've experienced that personally with the house I built a few years ago. I just put a set of stairs coming out of it, and when I called for the CO, they came down and said, no, you need at least a 4-foot landing. I wasn't aware of that, so put the 4-foot landing on. I had plenty of room in the backyard, but I learned that the same way you learned that. So I'm familiar with that issue. But I don't think it's gonna be any type of a nuisance at all, a congestion. I think it's certainly not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood. So I plan on supporting it. Thank you.
Mr. Mantoni?
I agree with the other board members. Yeah, I don't have any issues. It is built right now? Okay. Yeah, so, no issues with me.
Yeah, I don't see how it imposes any hardship on the neighbors, or I don't see why we can't grant relief pursuant to the criteria of the zoning bylaws, which Mr. Igo is going to recite for you in a moment when he does his closing speech, as he always does. So
Just a quick
please
question.
feel free, Mr. Igo, to go right ahead.
Well, question.
Oh, sure.
Just, Sean, is this a special permit, or does it require a variance
The special permit, it's an extension or alteration.
of a special? permit?
And I think what we should do is just amend the existing special permit. I don't think we need to issue a new special permit, just for housekeeping purposes for future.
Sure, that's
boards.
fine, yeah. Anybody have a problem with that? Amending it? Okay, instead of issuing a new?
Yeah, amending.
You
it.
still have to take it to the Registry of Deeds and record it, the amended
Okay.
amendment to the special permit, but it's just an easier way to go about it, okay? So, go ahead, Mr. Igo, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the special permit as requested with no conditions.
I'll second.
And do you concur that they meet the criteria of the zoning bylaw?
I do. I think they meet the criteria for a special permit.
And therefore, an amendment to the existing
An
special.
amendment to the existing special permit.
Sure.
Certainly will be no undue nuisance created, hazard or congestion, nor are they nor they're not more substantially non-conforming.
Nor detrimental to the existing or
Detrimental.
future character of the neighborhood or town.
Correct.
And you know, in fact, I think you're enhancing the neighborhood in town.
No, they're doing a good job over there.
Yeah, it's a nice property. You're doing what you can do on a tight lot and a funny configuration on that
Yeah,
lot.
when they built those many years ago, they kind of put them here and there, and,
It was an old fishing shack.
yeah. I grew up on Evergreen Street, actually.
Oh, okay.
I remember that house right there when it was kind
Yeah,
of.
what do you mean your boundaries there? My stick's there, that's my boundary. Well, what a pleasure dealing with you gentlemen this evening. We're going to now bring it to a vote, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
You have anything else you want to say before we do that?
No, just want to thank you for your time.
On the motion so made and seconded, Mr. Frapery?
Aye.
Mr. Igo?
Aye.
Mr. Mentoni?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so that carries 4-0. A decision will be drafted, it will be filed with the town clerk's office. 10 days must elapse before that is considered an issued special permit, and it will only take effect upon recording it at the Barnstable Registry of Deeds and returning proof that you have done so
No.
to Ms. Fallon,
Okay.
Okay.
the brains of our operation, who we're blessed to work with. You can go now. Thank you, gentlemen.
Have a great rest of your evening.
Congratulations, thank you. All right, and then the next petition is that of 5121 Sonia and Anthony Hilton. Hello. By process of elimination, I bet that's you. And so this is concerning property located at 16 Ivy Lane in South Yarmouth, Massachusetts. That property is located in a zoning district, R40. The applicant seeks a special permit pursuant to to a zoning bylaw, section 104.3.2, subparagraph 2, or in the alternative, a variance pursuant to section 203.5 for side setback relief to build an 8-foot by 12-foot sunroom. Good evening.
Good evening.
Will you tell us who you are?
I'm Sonia Hilton.
Okay?
I'm Anthony Hilton.
Okay. Good to see you both.
Nice.
Go right ahead and tell us all about your petition, please.
We'd like to build a 8 by 12 sunroom, just a addition to the little one that we have. Like to extend it a little.
Okay, and is there a reason why are you aware of why you need relief from us here tonight? Is it too close? Is that the problem?
No, I don't. Is it too close?
Yeah,
Too close to the sideline setback.
too close to, you have a setback requirement from your sideline. Well, we'll go over it. We'll take a look at it. I think we can probably figure it out. So, Jay, do you have any questions of our petitioners?
I don't. I think this is it's a non-conforming today? Do you know? If the lot is already non-conforming? Just curious. I'm trying to understand if we're looking at special permit or variance, but I guess I'm asking the person from the board.
Yeah.
I don't-
Got to find what the reason is they're even here.
Well, they're gonna be reducing, looks like 12.7 feet from the property line with the addition of the 8 by 10 room. Best I can tell.
Okay.
They have the full distance today, it looks like 20 feet. So I think all of the setbacks
I don't think they meet the front setback,
you see a number?
29.4.
Okay, so it's not,
So they'd be legally pre-existing, so
They'd be
it would be special permit.
oh, we can do special permit, okay. That's good, it's easier. So, no, it just looks like they're gonna be reducing the side setback from 20 feet. They need to go to 12.7. So I don't have any questions.
Okay. Pretty straightforward. How about you, Mr. Igo?
I have no questions, it's pretty straightforward, yeah.
John, how about you?
What's the structure behind, on the other side of that proposed sunroom. Is that a deck back there?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
It's a deck in the back.
can't put it over there. And that's the only spot that you could put it, right?
Yeah.
As far as you're concerned? Okay, no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, have you spoken to the health department? Did they chime in on this at all?
No.
No need for relief there. I see the septic system's way to the back, but it looks like there's a distribution box there, but you're not on it, so that's good news. And how about your neighbor immediately to the, from looking at your property to the left? Have you spoken to them at all?
No, there.
Did they speak to you at all about any concerns?
No.
Okay. No, and the same applies to the right. I would assume they didn't express any, well, they've got a house that's awfully close to a side yard, so
There is a picket fence there too, between the properties.
they might be a little disingenuous to say anything, but that's okay. Yeah, it's a very pretty property, very nice property. You've done a great job with it, and seems to me to be a pretty modest proposal. Everybody likes a sunroom. My wife and I were just scouting out Airbnbs for this winter and down in Florida, and we had to find a Florida sunroom or we weren't going. We weren't going to rent that house,
That's key.
you know, because I know where I like to play cards at night. Hopefully there'll be some poker players on the street. We'll see.
There's no poker players.
Well, then I play with my wife. Cribbage. I play cribbage all night long, but that's fun. She's a good girl. Wonderful wife, by the way, if she's listening. She's the best, I tell you. Anyway, on to more important things, and that's your petition. I'll invite anybody in our audience who cares to speak in favor or against this petition, come to the microphone. As there's no one in the room, you don't have anybody complaining about it, okay? So that's the good news. Sometimes we do get people that are very vocal in their complaints. But this seems to be a pretty, like I said earlier, straightforward proposal, and one that I certainly can understand why you'd want to have it done. I can't imagine another location because, as I say, that distribution box leading to the septic system, I don't know what else you'd do. So, okay, anybody else want to chime in with anything before somebody makes a motion?
Well, the only thing that I would point out is they're in an R40 zoning district, and it's a very small lot to be in an R40 zoning district. Really, it probably should be in an R25, but they decided to make this R40. So that, they're at a disadvantage there because they're on a little less than a quarter acre, and when you have to meet 20 feet on the side setback, it's very difficult. Now, if they were in here on an R25, they'd only be looking
3
for a couple of feet here, so
2.5 feet.
as a general rule, we're pretty inclined to grant that relief, so. But I think what they're asking for is a reasonable request anyway, and they seem to be an adequate distance from the sideline setback, and the neighbor that will be most affected appears to be a
Uninterested.
good distance away, so.
And uninterested, they're not here tonight.
Right. And it looks like it's gonna be a nice enhancement to the house. Yeah.
Well, great. Are you prepared to make a motion?
Jay or John are gonna
Jay,
make a
did you want to
motion,
make a motion?
I'll just make a motion to approve the special permit as requested
Without condition?
without conditions.
Well, isn't he nice? Huh? He gets all the credit now, watch.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
And somebody else seconds to get their name on there quick, too. So, we have to do it by roll call vote, so let's, without further ado, unless someone wants to say something, get right to it. Hearing none. Mr. Mantoni?
Aye.
Mr. Igo?
Aye.
And Mr. Frapery?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so that carries 4-0. That's unanimous.
Thank you.
And, well, you're quite welcome, but let me tell you how this now works, okay? I said it in the last one, but let me say it to you, please. I have to draft a decision. I'll try and get to it ASAP, because I know you want to get going on your building. Once that decision is filed with the town clerk, it then is considered issued after 10 days. So Once it's filed, 10 days, what?
20.
I'm sorry, 20 days. What am I thinking of? Phew, I've been away too long. 20 days have to elapse, and that's a technical period. It could be that someone comes in and objects, but it's unlikely in a case where nobody's here tonight. And so once those 20 days elapse, you bring the special permit to the Barnstable Registry of Deeds, you record it, and you return it to our wonderful zoning board administrator, okay? Any questions? Well, what a delight meeting the two of you.
Mr. Chairman?
Have a wonderful night and a good summer.
Mr. Chairman, we also have a variance. There's also a request for variance.
You asked for two different forms of relief, didn't you? And so one was a special permit, which we've now just granted. But we can't leave this variance just floating out there. So in these circumstances, we always ask the petitioner to agree to allow that to be withdrawn, but without prejudice, meaning that if you ever want to bring up a variance request again, you wouldn't be prejudiced by the withdrawal of this one. Okay? Would that be agreeable to you? All right, and on a on a voice vote?
So moved.
Mr. Frapery moves and Mr. Igo seconds, and all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
So that carries. Now our business is done. You have a wonderful night, okay?
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Good to meet you.
Nice meeting you too.
Now, I want you to go say wonderful things about our board, okay? I'm only kidding. Do we have any minutes or anything that need approved?
We have two sets of minutes.
Move to approve the minutes of June 27th.
Second.
I wasn't a participant, so you three need to vote on it.
John, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passes unanimously.
I wasn't at the next one.
We only have,
There's two
I don't think you can
sets.
do a two vote, can you?
but it all says June 27th, though. It's just
And the,
once.
and the 11th.
Oh, do I have the 11th, too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Let's see, just you and me?
Yeah.
Well, looks like we're
Can
gonna
do
have
that.
a small roll call. John, would you like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Yes.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, that passes
I'm
unanimously.
not sure that vote's effective, but that's
Well,
okay.
In the event
It
that
is
it's
now.
not appealed. and- Yeah.
And with that, I move to adjourn, and is there a second to that?
Second.
And all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. Let's get off mic.